back to Breaking Point on Real America's Voice News. So we have an SOS for free speech. It's a clarion call. They're trying to shut us all up. But anyway, we have a really great guest with us right now. We have Troy Anderson. He's a Pulitzer Prize nominated investigative journalist, writes for Reuters, Newsmax, Town Hall, and other outlets. But he has a book out called The Military Guide to Armageddon, battle-tested strategies to prepare your life and soul for the end times. Troy, welcome to the show.
It's great to be on your show, David.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It's such a volatile time, and we're all kind of fighting for our lives here to stay afloat. We're all, I can't sleep at night, because I have a conservative-oriented opinion. We're losing Twitter followers. We're being banned. Social media is out to get us, except for a few news sites on the horizon, like, Parler and Clout Hub maybe, and others. Tell us about your book, and why did you write this?
Yeah, so I wrote two previous books, The Babylon Code and Trumpocalypse, were #1 bestsellers. And then shortly after the last one came out, my co-author, Colonel David Zere, got a hold of me. And the thought occurred to me, because I knew about these polls that show about 70% of Americans highly respect the military. So I thought, if America will listen to anybody about the dangers we're facing, about Bible prophecy, the end times, they'll listen to a U.S. Army chaplain and colonel. So I agreed to help him write this book. It just came out, became a #1 bestseller.
Right. So when I was a youngster, I was screaming, went to the Soviet Union really young, and saw communism. We're all yelling from the rooftops. Socialism's coming, communism's bad, a godless society can't survive. North Korea, all these countries that have persecuted their own people, sending millions, to their deaths. Maoism, and everyone laughed. You're a Reagan kook, you're a right wing, white supremacist, whatever they want to say, aren't we facing that now? Is this like the foot in the door for that in the United States, or do you think there'll be a pushback?
Essentially, I've been investigating this question for the last decade, and, done over 200 interviews, read hundreds of books, gone through thousands of pages of government academic documents, and there has been a concerted push for decades now to try to, essentially try to overthrow America with some kind of socialist regime, and we're essentially watching this happen now. That's what's, going on, and I do believe there's going to be pushback, and we're starting to see a lot of, conservatives waking up to what's really happening and getting involved. So that's very encouraging.
Yeah. I have some hope on one side of the coin. On the others, I see the slow erosion, and now it's been accelerated because the old school Democrats, even like Tip O'Neill or Dan Moynihan, who apologized for supporting the Great Society and said he helped create an intergenerational subdependency on the welfare state and an entitlement mentality that runs 2, 3, 4 generations deep. And, there was a realization that maybe these big brother policies, nanny state, taking the father out of the home, replacing it with a check, for white and black population in America, right? And in Appalachia and the inner city. So my point is that, which is worse or which is more powerful? Is there hope for us, or is this continued erosion going to happen over time, and then we're frogs in the pot?
Well, that's why we wrote this book. We want to encourage and inspire people to get ready for whatever we're going to face here. This book is sort of like a spiritual guide. In the military, they have a process called the making of a warrior. It takes you from a civilian into a soldier who can fight in combat. So in this book, the colonel takes 3 decades of his experience as a chaplain and a colonel and translates that into sort of spiritual warfare kind of things. So this book will help you, draw closer to God and get ready in that respect. But we also have a chapter on prepping for the end times, anything you might need to, be prepared for any kind of disaster. But the main message is to be brave and courageous and to stand up for freedom, because, we're watching our freedoms erode. Churches are shut down, synagogues, there is a concerted effort to try to, censor us and close us down. So it's time to stand up and be brave.
Right. So we're tired of being told we're bad people for being good people. And, there's the forgotten man. Trump was right on the money when it comes to, families and businesses, intergenerational businesses. They're losing hope. the regulation of the institutional bureaucracy on the local, state, and federal level, more regulations, higher taxes, and now the COVID lockdowns destroying middle America and the blue states. So is the book really a message of hope? It sounds pessimistic or ominous, but isn't it really about, just being in control of your life and fighting for what you need to do?
Yeah, the military guide to Armageddon. I believe we are, potentially moving into this period of time the Bible talks about, but it's also a great hope. The Bible talks about our blessed hope, the return of Christ and setting everything straight eventually. And in the meantime, one of the secrets is to draw close to God. This is a time, a Pew report came out just a week and a half ago, said 3 in 10 Americans are now drawing closer to God. They're praying more. So that's a sign of great hope. And there's all kinds of great things happening around the world in terms of spiritual matters. So this is a time to get your spiritual house in order, and also to be brave and courageous and stand up. I would encourage people to get involved in local politics. The more good people we have in government, the better things are going to be.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. And as opposed to maybe the traditional politician, we need more people like a Donald Trump to step into the arena, who are really dynamic people and have natural leadership abilities. So I'm a practicing Catholic. When I tell people about, or I engage in a debate about religion, I say, listen, even if you don't believe in God, and if you go out into space and there's a wall, there's always something behind it. And you cannot explain the infinite universe compared to our mortal being. There's a mystery of life, right? And you have to have some faith and a code. So how do you address, especially in the military, when we have suicides that are so high, has the chaplain seen a degradation in the belief in God in the military, in the ranks? And also, how do you convince people to come over and to have some faith?
Well, my co-author, Colonel David Zere, he just met with the chief of chaplains who expressed great interest in the military guide to Armageddon. So there's potentially the possibility this book could be put into the hands of soldiers around the world. To be a very encouraging, inspiring book. Especially at a time when there's so many soldiers that are have committed suicide and feel discouraged and that kind of thing. So we're hoping this will be an inspiration to them. And then we've also formed Battle Ready Ministries to put on conferences at churches and camps and retreats and different venues to help inspire and encourage people to draw closer to God, to move closer into your faith, and that's going to be one of the keys to navigating what's ahead of us here.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt that we live in a pop culture, instant gratification. The attention spans aren't there. People aren't reading. They're not reading the classics. Which give you, I believe that Christianity brought to the Western world like the greatest gift to this planet, and not to degrade any other religions or anything, but, the Western civilization, the classics, the advancement of man, the Judeo-Christian ethic that made this country great. There's no doubt that it's been driving us for all this time. How do you reach out to young people to give them a message of hope?
You're absolutely right. The Western civilization grew out of the King James Bible. It grew out of the Bible that's based on Judeo-Christian beliefs and tenets. That's why we have these freedoms and liberties that we have today. And because of the educational system, a lot of the younger people aren't being taught this anymore. And so I would encourage young people to read the classics, to read the Bible, to delve into our history and why we have all these freedoms and liberties today, and why these are so important. If you look at the different communist and socialist systems, Russia, China, North Korea. These are terrible societies where there's all kinds of atrocities that happen. I think over 100 million people have died in various ways in these systems in the past. So it's although there's young people believe that socialism could work today, some kind of democratic socialism, the history doesn't suggest that. So it's a dangerous road to go down.
Yeah, so we didn't get to the impeachment. We only have about a minute left. So in about a minute, tell us what you think comes next for Trump, and is he involved in the next elections?
Yeah. I mean, it was good news that President Trump, wasn't impeached in this second impeachment effort. And so, I mean, just like you, we're just waiting to see what he's going to do next. And is he going to create some kind of social media platform? Will he run in 2024? I wrote a book called Trumpocalypse that explored, how President Trump fits into unfolding biblical prophecies. And we just saw 4 years of great prosperity, all kinds of advances, the Supreme Court justices, many good things happen, and so it's going to be interesting to see how things may evolve under the Biden administration, and what President Trump is going to do next.
Yes, I got to say, been through 7 or 8 presidential elections. I've never seen more get done in 4 years by anybody, it's really going to be very interesting to see what happens next. We have about 30 seconds. Tell us where people can buy your book and follow you. Social media.
Yeah, so the book became a #1 bestseller. Hit 129 out of 33 million books on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere books are sold. You can go to my website. It's troyanderson.us, and I'm on Facebook under Troy Anderson, and Twitter and Instagram and MeWe.
All right, great. Will you be at CPAC?
Well, I'll look into it.
All right, great. Well, I hope to talk to you again. Thank you so much, everybody. Troy Anderson, thank you so much for joining us. This is David Zere. I'm on my way to CPAC. We're going to have the best coverage in the country. Check it out.